You know, a big part of healing and awakening and expanding consciousness, and, being part of the shift that is going on now, being more present in the now, in the moment, becoming whole, etc. A big part of your spiritual path is doing shadow work. Shadow work is not new, Now it's in fashion, but it's not new. It's part of many traditions, practiced practiced all over the world in different ways and known by different names. We call it shadow work. We use the term coined by Carl Jung, Jung, the student of Freud, and it refers to our deepest wounds. But the shadow is not only the wounds, okay? It's much more than that. And it's also a way, a path to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Jung said he saw that these wounds are often created in childhood, but of course they can sometimes develop later on in life too. The problem is when, when we ignore the shadow, these wounds influence us from a dark place, from a subconscious level, making us, to live a life from a place of imbalance. The shadow makes us reactive to life instead to be responsive. So, in doing shadow work allowed us to live from a place of balance, holiness, and becoming a real conscious co-creator of our experience of life. So, as we will see, the shadow work is about owning your shadow, owning it, instead of denying it, because the shadow feeds from denial. I mean, actually, is also created somehow by denying it. Make it stronger. So we call the shadow to the dark or hidden side of ourself, that which isn't yet brought to light. More particularly, the aspect and emotions of ourself less pleasing to our nature. And even though such aspects are widespread in our world today, everywhere, we are more likely to condemn them, to reprove them, by bury such emotions, by denying such emotions until they release themselves to unconscious reactions, creating problems in our life. The shadow comes from a denial system, and when we see it in others, we judge them, for actions that we would never do ourselves. But the fact is that such dark emotions and aspects live within all of us. It's just part of being human. The problem is when they go unrecognized, when they produce this automatic reactive life, well, then in that moment hell break loose. But there is nothing really wrong with the dark aspect of the self. The problem is when we are not aware of them and they make us behave in certain ways, we have problems because we are and we become what we think and the way we feel. This is hard to digest for some people because it implies and denotates that we need to take full responsibility for ourselves. What is happening to us, the way we feel, and the reality that unfolds around us is all our responsibility. But only through recognition comes real healing. It comes from the core of our inner being, because it is within the core of ourself which both aspects of the equation live. hate and love and dark and light, etc. So if we don't accept and incorporate such contradictions in our realization, we are imbalanced human beings. Thus, we end up making feelings and decisions from our unconscious dark side. From this place, we try to deny desperately. Now, to incorporate the dark into the light, we should first recognize it. And how we do that? Well, recognizing all emotions as they take place. Without judgment, without, the intervention of our self-made denial system, our self-beating patterns, etc. So it's also essential that we connect close with other people that are in the same, path. They are concerned in reaching higher levels of consciousness just like ourselves, The time for the lone wolf is over, We need to do it all together. So, taking conscious steps to improve our healing and evolution and embracing a forgiving, loving, and unselfish nature is the way we can start changing the world, transforming the world. But this transformation starts here, in each one of us. On the other hand, denying or disowning the shadow, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, it's a dangerous thing. Lately, there is a lot of talk going around in the spiritual world, love and light, love and light, But to feel that love, we need to heal the deepest part of ourselves. We need to go to places, inner places that we may consider ugly. By doing shadow work, we shed light on the dark so we can become the light instead of pretending. Or just repeating like parrots, love and light, brothers and sisters, love and light, Come on. I'm not going to talk about this now because I already talk a lot about what I call the love and light conspiracy. So, anyway, the thing about the shadow is that it wants to be known. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to surface. It craves to be understood and integrated. It craves to be held in awareness. So the longer the shadow stays in darkness, within the subconscious or the unconscious, the longer the shadow stays denied and ignored, the more it will find opportunities to make you aware of its existence. And it's not going to be nice. So, spiritually bypassing one's own inner darkness, it results in a lot of serious problems. Spiritual bypassing is one of the biggest problems in these new age, spiritual seeking communities. Anyway, when you do shadow work, there are no shortcuts. There is no quick fix. It's a lot of work. But with perseverance, with regularity, sooner or later, the shadow will surface and will bless your life. Now, the first step in doing shadow work is realizing that there are no bad emotions. Every emotion have its seat at the round table. We label some emotions are good, some emotions are bad, and we deny the bad ones, or we try to avoid them. That is, we are reinforcing the shadow. Because our shadow aspects are present every day in everything we do. Even if we are aware or not, they are all the time with us. is such an integral part of our psyche that it can be difficult to notice when we go in autopilot, we don't notice this. So to become aware of the influence of the shadow, we need to be able to see the ongoing patterns in our life. We need to move away from the victim mentality and stop blaming others and ourselves for whatever happened in our reality, in our life. I always say there is no such a thing as victims, but we create what is going on, but because we are creating from influenced by a part of ourselves that we are not aware of, well, it looks like, oh, everything is happening to me. I found that if we experience everything as it is our own choice, well, that's the trick. Because at the end, it is like this. Everything we experience is our choice. Understand? So, again, I use the system of, fake it until you make it. So, just for now, experience everything as if it is your choice, as if you have chosen it. And things will change. Because most of our traumas, which is the stuff that the shadow feeds from, as I mentioned, come from childhood times. This is something that even the most aware may be unaware of. That's why we need to get in touch and be fully aware of our inner child needs. Because from there come most of our shadow beliefs that in one way or another are stopping us from living a fullest life. Remember, the best way to deal with the dark places we most don't want to go is going there. So shadow work may be painful sometimes, may be difficult, but it's pain with clarity. Once that you see it, it dissolves. It gets reintegrated. It's kind of pain with a higher purpose. Shadow work really is more about shadow integration than anything else. Becoming aware of the shadow is one of the most important things you can do for self-awareness, for living a life full of love, joy, healing, compassion, all these nice things. All throughout history of mankind, shadow work has played a powerful yet mysterious role in helping us to be full integrated human beings. Human. Hu means divine, man means mortal. So a full integrated human being is a mortal god or goddess. Nowadays, shadow work is associated with psychologists and psychotherapy and things like that. But traditionally, shadow work was part of shamanism or medicine people. In shamanism, we do shamanic journeys or consciousness journeys. We enter the left side awareness by traveling to the lower world, middle world, or upper world. The lower world represents the unconscious mind. The middle world, the conscious, and the upper world, the spiritual realm. The shadow self is an archetype, part of the unconscious mind, and by traveling to the lower world, leaving the conscious mind behind, we can face our fears, weaknesses, denial, self-repression, etc., from an advantage point of interaction. Because once we are able to witness all these hidden aspects, we can reintegrate them and produce changes in our life, by bringing them to the forefront, so we can better understand them, heal what has to be healed, etc., and then reintegrate all this experience, getting closer to wholeness. And when you are whole, you are holy. You need to become aware of what dictates your behavior. Why you react this way or why you react that way. Most of your reactions come from the belief systems in place. The problem is that those belief systems are deep rooted in your subconscious mind and you are not aware of them. Now, power comes only from totality, never from partiality. I'm talking about the power of changing your life, not the power of the army or something like that. So the problem with the shadow is that render us powerless because we are not in totality, we are not complete. And the shadow makes us think sometimes that we are the body, sometimes we are the mind, or even the soul, where we are not. We think we are our problems, our ancestors, our many identities. We are not. We are not our sex, we are not our illnesses, or our pains, or our loves. What we are is the ongoingness and foreverness of everything that is. We are what we look outside ourselves to find. We are the love and the joy we seek. I know at the end we are consciousness, but if we understand through shadow work that by facing hidden aspects of the self, by witnessing, if we understand that our beliefs create the experience of the reality, that the physical environment, or the physical reality, or the material world is just a manifestation of our beliefs, that our beliefs create reality really, or the experience of the reality. If we understand this, we become powerful. Then we can change. Otherwise, we remain in darkness, in a vicious circle of unconscious creation. That's why everything repeats over and over and over in most people's life. Constantly reinforcing the things we try to change or heal over and over. The problem with beliefs is that there are two kinds, personal beliefs and general beliefs. You need to identify them. So my suggestion is, take your journal or a piece of paper, divide it in two columns. So in the first column you write some of the beliefs that you are aware of, and in the other column you write the problems or limitations that this brings to your life. So it's not beliefs, oh, I believe this. No, you will see. For instance, in my case, 20 years ago, I didn't know English. Not that I know much now, but at least I can communicate a bit. But I would write in the first column, believe I don't know English. Limitation or problem? Well, it's difficult for me to meet people when I travel, it's difficult to travel, I cannot read many things, etc. Or believe, I didn't finish university. Problem, it limits me, to get a job, etc. I know that you're thinking, I didn't finish university is not a belief, but the belief is made of the two sides of the equation, the two columns. So, I didn't finish university, I cannot get a job. That's the belief, okay? So, once you identified some of the limitations that this belief brings into your life, you can start working on them by fake it until you make it, or the pretending game, like some people call it. What I mean is this: you have to produce the emotion opposite to the one that comes from the belief you want to change. So once that you have your list, of the beliefs, you will pick one. And you will, for one day, for the entire day, every hour or something that you remember, you will try to produce the opposite feeling. Not thinking, but feeling. At the beginning, feeling. So in my case, I don't know English. It's very difficult for me to meet people when I travel. What I would do is I would embody the feeling of meeting interesting people and having a good conversation. Just this is enough, embodying the feeling. So I will imagine how good I feel, how happy I will be, how free I would be. I will imagine every single little detail. I will, my body language, what words, what things I will say, how this will make me feel, even the weather around me, the location, what I would be drinking, etc. This will create thinking, thoughts create feelings, produce feelings. So I will imagine everything and I will see how good this make me feel. And little by little, you will create a new pattern in your life when you do this. So when you do it, take one belief and one limitation, thing, one problem you can identify, do it for one day, the entire day, and you will see that feeling, will put in motion certain energies and will make things happen. Because as you feel, you become, understand? So little by little, you will create a new pattern in your life. And when this happens, new neural connections will be created in your brain and will alterate your energy field. And this will override and dissolve the belief and all the limitations, freeing you from bringing that dark, reactions into your light. So, but you must really get into it emotionally, otherwise you will be wasting your time. Okay. So the first part of starting with shadow work is identifying the beliefs and the limitations that this produces in your life. Now, the second part is that you need to get physically by acting your feelings. Remember, to really produce changes in your reality, you need to align thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay, they have to be in harmony. So you get to act your feelings. I mean, for instance, if you are shy, just go out and smile to everyone. If you believe you are poor, because being poor is a belief, if you believe you are poor, you just go and donate 100 euros or dollars to the zoo or to any institution you want. Because this is what people that are not poor do. Understand? So even if you, in your bank account, you have left 120 euros, donate 100. Understand? This will override the belief of that you are poor, and little by little, as I said, technically what happened is neural connections, new neural path transmissions are created in your brain, rewiring your brain. This will change your energy field, and changing your energy field will change absolutely your reality, your experience of life. So you need to act the opposite of your beliefs. This will override them. Now, the bottom line is very simple. If you change the feeling, you will change the belief. Okay? Once that you do, you start with the easiest ones, and then you keep going, with more difficult ones. In doing this exercise, you will realize that all circumstances and limitations in your life are your own creation. Understand? This is because we are electromagnetic beings, and everything that is energy. You, me, the sky, the water, everything is energy. But when you are not aware of your shadow, you become an electromagnetic time bomb. It will just explode one day. Because we are magnets, we really are magnets, and every day, in every moment, we attract into our life every single thing that happened to us, good or bad. It's that simple. Like vibrations attract like vibrations. Everything is energy. Every feeling has its own vibration. And we attract by the way we feel. It is our feelings and emotions that makes things happen, not our thoughts. It's just the way it is. Again, I say feelings and emotions, although are different things in this example, are the same because they contain certain vibrational pattern and an energy charge. Our feelings are pure magnetic energy. These make us creators or co-creators of our experience of the reality. But conscious creation must be planned. You need a plan. Otherwise, our shadow will do the job for us. So, because you cannot have it both ways. You cannot be loved if your beliefs tell you you are unworthy of love, etc. Now, when it comes to emotions, well, there are only two emotions really. One feels good and the other feels bad. That's it. So each hour, for just a few minutes, decide to feel good about something. Anything can do. Because when you feel good, you raise your vibration, you move into the present moment, and only in the present change is possible. One of the problems with doing shadow work is that the shadow exists in the past. Okay, I always say there is no past, no future, only present, but energetically it feels like it operates from the past. So that's why it's difficult to see and to change. You need to bring the shadow to the present. That's why I'm telling you, you have to feel good about something. Because when you feel good, or you feel appreciation, or you feel love, or you feel excitement, etc., then when we feel this, we move into the now. And it's in the now that we connect to our core energy. And our awareness gets sharper, etc. Therefore, we will be able to see, to witness our shadow and bring it to light. You will be able to observe your patterns. Things like, I have been this way all my life, but I'm working on it, but da 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 da. The reason I am this way is blah 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 blah, etc. And you will understand that as far as you are processing, it is absolutely impossible to shed light on your shadow. So you need to stop processing and start living it. The trick here is to observe your past without judgments. Look at it from the now, and it will lose the grip on you. It will dissolve. It will look like a bad B movie that, is not real. Otherwise, it will keep conditioning your actions and reactions, repeating unwanted patterns, unwanted reactions, and the shadow will feed itself over and over and getting stronger. Every time you justify to yourself how you got wherever you are bringing the past into the now. losing all possibilities of balancing the shadow with the light, you know, losing the possibility of becoming a fully empowered being. So, what will you find when you look into the shadow? Well, in shamanism, we search first for what we call the seven shadow arrows. These are attachments, judgments, expectations, dependencies, comparisons, neediness of approval, and self importance. Of course, there are many more things to look for, like regrets, guilt, remorse, etc. But these emotions, it holds energy trap. And, emotions are very powerful. All this energy is kind of trapped in the shadow and is stopping you from awakening, from healing, living a joyful life, etc. So true self-acceptance is only possible from totality. But most people live in denial of their own shadow. So true self-integration can only happen in the present, never from the past. The trick here is to live without regrets, by understanding and reintegrating the shadow part of the self. Doing shadow work, you will come to realize that unworthiness, it was a lesson. All these dark emotions, it were just lessons. I'm done with it. It is now time to love them back into light. I always say, you want to get rid of something, love it. Because darkness is part of the story, just like light is. There are no bad emotions. So, in any journey, every step is as important as any other one. The first step of the journey, the middle one, or the last step of the journey are all important. So, in order to start with the first steps in your journey of healing your darkness, well, start simple. Write down your beliefs. Next to each one, write the limitations that bring in. Pick one belief for one day, try to produce the opposite feeling. Then get to act this feeling somehow. This will put in motion energies that will produce change. Little by little, this darkness will surface so you can shed light on it. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is how you do shadow work. Of course, there are much more deeper and complicated things to do later on, and I will post another video in the following days with more tips, but this is a good way to start. So, good luck in your journey, and remember, own your shadow and you will own your life. Stay good, follow your joy, see you soon.